Hi, welcome to Rein It In. This is Matt.
And I'm Rachel.
And we're in New York City right now. We're actually here with our second episode, and we've already got a guest.
Just a guest.
Just a guest. Oh, okay, just a guest. So we've got our friend John here.
Hey. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for having us. So we're staying in John's place here in the Bronx, and so we're going to talk real quick today about, 2 nights ago or something. It's been a action-packed, full last day and a half. So Rachel and I went to see Peter, Bjorn, and John on Friday night, and then we ran around the city and had a good time with John on Saturday. So we're going to start out first with talking about the Peter, Bjorn, and John, and then we'll talk about New York City. All right, talk to you guys soon.
So we're going to talk you through quickly Friday night and the Peter, Bjorn, and John show that we organized this weekend, the timing around. We obviously wanted to see John as well, but
Thanks.
Normally I wouldn't travel right the last weekend of the semester because it's incredibly inconvenient.
And between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right. But, you got to go when the show's playing.
It's a Peter, Bjorn, and John weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Double shots.
Yeah.
So one thing that I wanted to say is we've had a few cocktails in the city so far, and I think that Atlanta cocktail culture wins over New York cocktail culture. Admittedly, I have a small sample size.
Yeah.
But
we at least give a run for the money.
I mean, they've been good, but they've not been amazing. So I'll just say that. New Yorkers, come to Atlanta and drink some drinks.
Yeah.
Leon's, that's what you should do.
Right.
So that's my very brief wrap-up of dinner on Friday. Now we'll go on to actually talking about the show.
Oh, I will say, so John asked earlier, why we call this Rein It In.
Yeah, Rein It In. What's up with that?
Yeah. So first of all, just because I want to ramble, at first when I was setting up the podcast and I was setting up an Instagram, because I'm an idiot, I spelled it like rain, the
like what Kinks do,
royalty thing, REIGH, and I was like, wow, this is great. All these things are open. Nobody's using this. And then I realized that I don't know how to spell. So we went back. But this all...
Especially because you just spelled it REIGH, which is definitely not how it's spelled.
Anyway, whenever I looked it up, maybe it was totally wrong anyway. It probably was. I can't live without spell checking, and I'm still typo all the time. But anyway, we have good friends, Harley and Heather from Colorado, and they used to always say, I'm trying not to use people's last names, but Rein It In, last name, to sort of get themselves in check when they were kind of goofing around too much. And so Rachel and I kind of adopted that. And so sometimes we're messing around. That'll happen. But the reason I bring it up now is we were at dinner before the show, and we were trying to get into our table, and they were kind of tight and close, and we had coats on because it's cold here in New York. And I totally knocked over a glass, and it clattered, and Oof. It was Rein It In. So So we had our first technical difficulties there. I accidentally must have hit stop. I think it was probably a user error. So we unfortunately lost some of John talking about our Airbnb and Peter, Bjorn, and John a little bit. So we were just going to cut in. We're actually at the airport. We're mixed up in time. We're going to wrap up, not the episode, but the PB&J discussion.
Yep.
Yeah.
So apologies for the different kind of background noise that we've got. I think everyone is basically delayed in this airport because of fog. So we actually just got on an earlier flight that was quite delayed. So we're leaving earlier than we were supposed to, which is great. We already have the opposite problem of everyone here, but it is loud.
Yeah. So Peter, Bjorn, and John, though, a good show.
It was a good show.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. The venue, we were at Rough Trade in New York City, and it was really small. Probably the smallest place we've seen them. Yeah. Although every time we've seen them, it's been pretty small clubs. And so, it was an enjoyable show. We had a weird Swedish lady next to us in her date who was really excited about being on a date with a Swedish woman.
Oh, yeah. Did a lot of making out.
They did.
That was during the show, right?
He was embracing the Euro makeout ethic, for sure.
But the Peter, Bjorn, and John seems to be a big band that nobody sees. They play a bunch of festivals and stuff. I'm sure they get people, but they don't come to the States very often, so I think that kind of makes it hard to get a following. Whoa, excuse me. Still, I'm definitely on the much better end of this cold, but wrapping it up. But yeah, we've always seen them in smaller places, but they're so much fun when we go. I mean, this is why we drove from Ohio to Chicago, we drove from Atlanta to Nashville, we flew from Atlanta to New York City to also see our friend John, but like the good impetus was Peter, Bjorn, and John. So yeah, there's a lot of fun. I don't know why we like them so much. Yeah,
because they put on a fun live show.
Yeah, it's kind of a good excuse to do something a little special too, I think.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point now it's a tradition. So, I mean, they played some new songs. They played some songs off of their last few albums, obviously, just sort of like any show that you go to.
Yeah.
The opener was a solo woman. Her name was Georgie
K-A-Y.
She was from Australia, and so she had a lot of like kind of synth stuff. We posted information about both her and Peter, Bjorn, and John on the Instagram. And I have some videos of the show, but I am not going to post those on Instagram because I don't know that they would appreciate having them posted publicly. But you can obviously just YouTube the crap out of Peter, Bjorn, and John if you are curious to hear their music. And
so we had a little bit of PB&J as the transition between the intro and the last little short piece, and then we close this one up before the next section. We'll have a little snippet from Georgie K from there, who was also supposedly in 6 episodes.
Top of the Lake.
Top of the Lake. So she's Australian. She still exists, I hope.
But yeah, it was 2 days.
Right. Yeah. It was a fun show though, and I danced too much, and we were worn out yesterday. It was a nice long day yesterday, but today was a nice recovery day.
Yeah, I walked like 36,000 steps over the course of 2 days, so I was very tired by the time last night came around, which you will hear about more in the next section.
Yeah.
Since I am psychically aware of what I said in the next few minutes.
All right, have a good one, everybody. Or actually, no, don't go. Stay with us. We'll be here more in the next section.
Yeah. So now we pick up with day 2 in New York City. Yeah, which was a busy day. But John very kindly came and picked us up from Brooklyn and then brought us back to the Bronx so we could drop off our stuff so we didn't have to worry about someone stealing it from the car.
Right. I heard you had an interesting Airbnb.
Oh, yeah.
We did. They gave us lox for breakfast the second morning, which I said that I was cool with, but then I decided I really don't like lox that much. But it's always good to try things again, just in case you decide you like them after not liking them for most of your life. I decided I still don't like it very much.
I got extra then.
Passed my bagel off to Matt.
Yeah. We talked about it a little bit last time too. But they had some original erotic art, which I don't know if we mentioned that in the thing or not. It was all pretty tame.
It was a selling point, though, on the advertisement for the Airbnb.
Just because it seemed curious and quirky.
You got to play up whatever makes you different.
Right. Yeah. The host, the husband host, is an artist by the name of Self-Indulgence. Yeah. So he goes by that. He's like a former graffiti artist, it seems, does a bunch of like collage and interesting stuff. And it sometimes involves slightly bondagey sort of things, but usually like layered under other stuff. So I was not uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
There was also a really great naked deer.
Oh yeah. We'll try to post a picture of that one. Yeah. But yeah, so John picked us up, and then we had a good full day of stuff planned. We took the train from the Bronx into Manhattan. We went to the Met. What do you guys think? I mean, obviously the Met's the Met, right? But
I found it entirely overwhelming in a way that was unexpected. Because I've been to big museums before. Like, that's the thing. I've been to very large museums. But I don't know. I think it was because I was incapable of reading the map and just continually lost.
Yeah, the map was a point of contention.
Yeah, it was really crowded too, so that plus the The map is difficult. We were looking for the American wing just because, we decided we would have lunch in the American Wing Cafe. It looked great. But harder to find than you would think, even with 3 people looking intently at maps.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple of wings that were closed, or like
Yes,
passageways.
that
Like we
was
went to the
trouble.
right place, I think, and then it wasn't there. And then like you pointed out, like what, I know what a mezzanine is, but how the hell did that work? It kind of had 4 floors somehow, and it was all on just 2 pages of the map.
Yeah, there should be a different map grid for every level. Like the mezzanine was sort of on the same level as the ground floor on the map, but not in real life.
Yeah.
It was confusing. So
But we ate.
I was overwhelmed
Yeah.
by the place.
Rachel might get a little bit hangry sometimes, and she was at sort of like breaking point when we finally, also the title of a Peter Bjorn and John album, of breaking point when we finally got lunch. So we settled down, right? We checked out some armory, arms and armor stuff.
Sure, cute bears.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the cute bears. Yeah.
They were very cute bear butts. Well, then the bears were cute. I wanted to boop them, but
Yeah.
you can't boop art.
No, well, I'll wait till we see Laszlo.
Should be a museum just of boopable things.
Oh yeah. We could start that.
For boops.
Museum of boop.
But yeah, what do you guys think? What was the most interesting thing you saw there? What do you think, John? I'll ask you as you take a sip of water.
Sure. The really intricate, like, clockwork musical automata thing was like a music box, but like with dancing figures from the Commedia dell'arte and like all sorts of different music that the box could play. That might have been the coolest precursor to our robot overlords making music for us.
Yeah. I dragged them into a history of musical instruments. Not really dragged; it wasn't a hard sell. Section because Rachel and I had seen one at another museum a couple years back, and this was a little more standard. There weren't quite as many like weirdo things, but there was like those horns that were pretty cool. That had they were like double coronets and double something like saxophone. It was like a saxophone and a cornet in one. I just kind of wish I could hear what they sounded like.
Yeah, it would be nice if there were audio recordings. I mean, I wonder how many of them are even really playable if they are quite old. How much you want to really try to play it. Although there was a recording of the oldest piano.
Oh, was there a recording? Because it does have the oldest piano there, which was pretty fun.
Oldest piano is still in existence. I assume there was probably some before that one existed, but they, then were thrown out windows in cartoons.
Yeah.
And
Right.
they just didn't last.
Yeah, 297 years old? Was that what it was?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Indeed.
It looked pretty piano-y, right? I mean, it was pretty solid. Had wooden keys instead of ivory keys, right?
What do they make them out of now? Plastic?
Well, I mean, cheap ones, but they're supposed to be ivory, right? Isn't that the whole...
Well, yeah, but
Right,
you
but
can't.
can't murder elephants for
No,
justice
yeah, good
anymore.
point.
Yeah,
Good
so-
point. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
But
Questions
ebony,
for
right?
later.
Ivory and ebony, right? Is that what kind
Yeah.
of keys are? So,
Yeah.
like, maybe the black keys were always wood.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't think they're made out of Paul McCartney.
That all distracted us
one
here
day.
from
Yeah.
the main point.
Yeah, we went into the modern section.
It was too much Picasso.
Yeah, there's a lot of Picasso always.
I mean, I should have planned ahead a little bit more and actually figured out a way to do a From the Mixed Up Files of Miss Basil E.
Oh, yeah.
Frankweiler tour of the Met, because that would be fun. And I just reread that book a year ago because I was thinking about writing something on it. And so, one of the things that I liked was seeing all the bedrooms and all the like furniture, because that is where they sleep in From the Mixed Up Files.
Yeah, I've never read it. Have you read it?
No, it sounds good.
Yeah, I only know about it through Rachel.
Well, anyway, 2 kids, brother and sister, run away to the museum and live there for a period of time while they're also trying to figure out who was the artist behind this statue that has recently shown up in the museum.
Was he just like standing behind the statue?
Who?
Oh, got it. Sorry.
Damn it. Okay. Anyway, shows up all over the place. There's references to it in Wes Anderson films, and people are really sort of enchanted by this idea of running away to the museum. And of course, you could probably get away with a lot in a museum that big. Mm-hmm. All the things.
So we also got someone asked if I could take their photo in front of the Met, and it started an interesting discussion about like not only like it being helpful to fellow humans, but like what are your obligations to do that, right? Like, if you really just don't want to do that, or you don't feel comfortable with your photography skills, like, should you really have to do that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think since I've been a New Yorker, like, I've been gravitating towards no. Like, what possible obligation could I have to my fellow man? So, I think it's fine to say no. It's nice to say yes, I'm just saying. Like, it shouldn't be the expectation that you say yes.
Right. And of course I tried to take the picture down, like, with a coffee truck behind it, and they were like, we kind of wanted the Met in the background. And I was like, of
it's
course.
the way they were facing.
I know, yeah.
So
I cut you off, sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm always just afraid I'm going to drop their camera and destroy it. But then that's their fault for giving it to me in the first place.
That's on them.
So the Met was overwhelming, but interesting. If you go, you can buy yourself a drink ticket when you buy your tickets that are $5, and that saved us about $9 on 2 beers. So I would recommend that if you feel as though you might get a drink at some point while you're there.
Yeah.
So there's my tip.
Yeah, and then mussels, right?
Yeah. Then we ate mussels at a place called Flex Mussels. It was a pun.
A delicious pun.
I actually think John's was the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't try John's.
I had the main mussels, which were lobster and bacon and mussels, and then like chowder ingredients like potatoes, creaminess.
Yeah. For the rainy day, it was just like, it was so warm and like comforting tasting.
Yeah, they bring you the big metal pot of mussels right to the table.
And plenty of bread. And they brought us bread back whenever we needed it. And that's always the downside of mussels when you get them in restaurants is there's not enough bread, and then you have to ask, and then it takes a while. Anyway,
they
had their mussels down.
Yeah, yeah. Flex mussels, plenty of bread. I was also really impressed with the guy that came to clear the table. That he had like 3 big pots, because they come in big pots, and then each of the pots has like a lid. Well, I guess we only had 1 lid left where you put your shells, and we had other utensils and plates, and he just had this giant pile of dishes, and you're just like do right out.
I'm like, at some point you're going to have to make 2 trips, guy. Give it up. But he just kept piling, and he did it.
It was pretty magical.
Yeah, and then the big thing, right, is that John made us realize that we were also being idiots. We were making plans to come to New York and didn't make plans to see a show or a play, right?
Live theater.
Yeah. So John got us tickets for a play that goes wrong at
the Lyceum.
Lyceum, yeah. Which I guess is where Cats was. Supposedly the oldest continually operating theater in New York City. It was pretty small, but it was fun.
Broadway.
Or on Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah. The play was awesome. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was just what I needed.
Really funny.
Yeah.
British farce. Well, the play goes wrong. That's how I would sum it up for you.
Yep. There's lots of various kinds of comedy. Physical comedy, and then obviously jokes and disasters of various sorts.
Yeah.
The conceit is it's a murder mystery, and so it's the inspector interviewing the various people in a Havisham manner where the murder has been committed, but then various failures of the set, props, costumes, and people's minds happen.
Yeah, right, because it's a community theater troupe putting on the play of the murder mystery, which is then inside the actual play of the thing. And I also like, because I always like kind of things that are a little bit outside the box, or like just kind of make you start thinking about it. But the performance actually started before the performance started. That we just had a good angle that the director of, that was in air quotes, of the play, inside the play, was walking around like talking to the sound guy that was in the balcony, and he was like introducing himself to people in the crowd. So he was like already on, right? And there were things happening. There were people setting up stuff on the stage, and that was, I'd say, a good 15 minutes before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was great. It beats, staring at the blank curtain while you're finding your seat and trying to resist buying $27 wine.
Yeah.
$27 wine. I mean, it was 2 glasses of wine, as he tried to convince us, but that's still a little pricey.
Yeah, it were very big glasses of wine, I'm sure. Because I could see what was he holding in his hand. It was like the size of a Coke.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. A Coke worth of wine is like half a bottle.
All right.
Nevertheless.
Yeah, but it's closing soon. It'll probably tour, I'm guessing. And it's been running for a long time, right? Didn't you? One of you guys said it's the longest running.
Yes, it was advertised as the current longest running play on Broadway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is crazy.
So it's closing on January 6th. So if you happen to be in New York over the holiday season and want to laugh at things in a nice theater, that's a good option for you.
And part of the reason we decided to go is because our niece does theater tech in high school, and she was part of a performance that she explained to us that because I have no memory at all, I didn't remember what it was called, and I thought it was this, but John reminded us that the actual play is...
It's Noises Off by Michael Frayn. I was in it in high school. It's a good high school play. It's because the more things go wrong because you're amateurs and incompetent and that sort of thing, the funnier it is.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Do you think it was designed around being that type of thing, or was it more like what we saw last night?
Oh,
I'm
I
not
see.
sure what
Where
you're
it's so was it intended to have highly skilled performers accurately do things wrong and improv a little bit, or was it designed around amateur actors being able to be successful?
Oh no, I think it was designed around highly trained actors doing stuff. But once you have the audience going, that the joke is that haha things keep going wrong. Even it almost adds another layer to the humor. So if you're supposed to like knock a bottle off something and it hits somebody in the head, and then they miraculously catch it, and instead they almost catch it, but they glances off their hand and it falls to the ground, audience think that's even funnier because they sort of get the joke.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Skill flexible.
Yeah, the one last night though, there were a couple scenes that were like just over the top. They were trying to drag a woman through a window, not without giving too much, in a rather unceremonious and not very
gentle.
Yeah, or successful way. I don't know. There were some other good ones. There was like just some good physical comedy. There was some good turns of phrase.
Mm-hmm. The set and props were amazingly handled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. What did anybody have any, without giving too many spoilers, I suppose, too? Any favorite spots, or?
I liked the alcohol that they kept coming back to, because that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, the longer the gags ran, the more instances of them that were different, the better I liked it. So some gags kept happening over and over the same way, but like if they kept building on a gag, then I liked it, and I thought the alcohol worked that way.
Yeah.
The problems with the elevator, the offstage elevator, are another good one.
Yeah. And then we took the train back,
and just utterly passed out. I was so tired.
Yeah. We were intending to record this last night when we got back, and that just wasn't happening. I was not really capable of speaking.
I live far in the North Bronx. My New York friends say, "Can you see ice floes out your window and polar bears?" When they find out how far north in the Bronx I live.
Yeah.
It's basically Albany.
But it's pleasant up here, though.
Oh, it's
I
nice,
can see definitely preferring to live up here.
Sure, I like it.
Yeah. Well, and plus it's close to work, right?
Yeah.
So that helps.
Well, but I mean, you can still scooch into the city in 45 minutes or an hour on the train. Yeah, it's fine. So, I would probably prefer to not live right in the middle of things in New York. Although it's the opposite in Atlanta, but that's because Atlanta has no public transit.
Yeah, right. Anything outside. So, but we should probably wrap up, right? We're a bit over that. We're trying to keep them around 20-ish, 25 minutes. But we're wrapping up our trip here as well. So thanks again, John, for having us.
Thank you guys for coming. I'm so glad I got to see you, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah. And we played some awesome escape room sort of board game, for lack of a better term, which is a ton of fun. We were taking one home with us as well, so looking forward to that. We'll play it with Brian and Sarah, hopefully.
And now we've dropped all of our friends. We don't have any other friends besides those people.
No,
so sorry. You've heard about all of them now.
We should play bingo with which of our friends will never listen to this, which is fine. And then we can talk about them all the time.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, wrapping up.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
We'll give you a couple little episodes from Colorado, which is our next trip, I imagine. But other than that, you have a bit of a hiatus from us. So thanks for listening to us talk about New York.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Thanks again, John. See ya.
Thank you.
You can check us out at anchor.fm/rainitin. That's spelled REINITIN, all one word, no spaces, and you can leave us a message there.
You can also follow us at Instagram at rainitin_podcast or email us at rainitin@ssdpress.org, also spelled REINITIN at ssdpress.org. Thanks again to all of our friends and family for all the support and for putting up with this. Have a great day.